Hello and welcome to Make It Happen with Will Polston. I'm Will Polston. This is episode number 147, and in this episode I'm joined by Mac Attram. Mac is the founder and CEO of Mindspace Coaching, a leading business growth expert, widely recognised as one of the most sought after business coaches and trainers for entrepreneurs. He's famous for helping business owners rapidly increase their sales revenues between 20 and 200% in just a few months, as well as implement better processes and winning business teams so they can have more time off to enjoy their lives. Mac had many years of challenge and failures in business before discovering what really works. His tenacity and over 30 years of martial arts practice helped him stay focused and disciplined, a trait he takes into all areas of his life, including business. Mac has trained and coached over 100,000 business owners and individuals from all over the world in more than 30 countries, and has shared the stage with some of the world's premier thought leaders, entrepreneurs and speakers, including Robert Kiyosaki, T. Harv Eker, Les Brown, Keith Cunningham, James Caan, Lady Michelle Mone and Duncan Bannatyne, to name a few. And in this episode, we're talking about the power of mindset in business with Mac Attram. So Mac, welcome to the show.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Really looking forward to our conversation. So the last time we were speaking, we were packing up turkeys and putting in carrots and gravy at Basket Brigade, which for those of you that don't know about it, is a phenomenal charity, a phenomenal incentive that has now fed over. I'm right saying there was a new figure recently that he's now hit over 1 billion meals that have been given. I believe I'm right in saying worldwide over 1 billion meals have been gifted at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that's where I had the first pleasure of meeting you in person and sort of being involved with that side of things. So if you're not familiar with Bucket Brigade, go and check it out. But I'm really excited to have you on the show. So we might as well get stuck straight into things. So as we've just heard, you have done some incredible things and literally constantly traveling around the world and helping people in some fantastic ways in all manner of different in all manner of different areas in relation to business and wealth creation and people developing their full potential. But one of the things that I'm always interested in, Mac, is where did that start? Where did that start for you? You know, because for most people in this industry, they didn't just kind of wake up or go to school thinking, "Yep, this is what I want to do when I grow up." So I'd love to know, what was the situation for you?
It's a great question. Great question. You know, it's a great question. Where did it all start? So today, you know, I've had the pleasure of training and coaching over 200,000 people in over 50 countries where I've actually traveled and helped and spoken on these platforms. But where did it actually start? It started, like most of us, my parents were very, look, go to school, study hard, get good grades, get a good job. And I followed all of that. And I got an MBA, master's degree in business administration, went into work. After 10 years, I thought this is enough. I'm not satisfied here. I don't feel fulfilled. I think there's something missing. And I thought maybe I just need to start my own business, take my life into my own destiny, as it were. So I started this little computer company, and things were going okay for a couple of years. And then I had two business partners who joined, and somehow the business started suffering. They had ordered a lot of stock. Well, basically they left the business in over 100 grand in debt, which was my personal debt now that I had to recover because they disappeared. You know, I'm calling, one of them said, "Oh, I don't want to work here anymore." But I only found out a few months later. And the other one, I go to his house, I ring the bell, he's not answering. I'm phoning him, he's not answering. And I'm asking, has anyone seen him? And they said, yes, it looks like he was just avoiding me because of what's coming up. So now I'm in a place where I'm heavily in debt, over 100 grand. At the time, my wife was pregnant with our second child. I mean, I feel blessed today because I've been married for 23 years. But at the time, my wife was pregnant with our second child. And I was hardly around because I was trying to fix this business so I can pay my 12 staff and I can take care of our clients. And one evening, Will, I remember driving, you know, London. I live in West London, and my office was based in North London. And that's like an hour and a half, even, you know, with traffic's a problem. 5 minutes from my home, I stopped my car in this shopping center car park, 5 minutes from my home, and I was just going through this breakdown. I had my hands on the wheels, parked up, thinking that I'm such a failure. how did I get here where things are not working? I'm in debt. I've hardly seen much of our first child. I've only been married a few short years, my wife, and I'm hardly around. And as I sat there feeling sorry for myself and feeling like a failure, it suddenly dawned on me that how does everyone else do it? How do successful business owners become successful? How do they create that kind of lifestyle, that kind of wealth? And I realized I've got to study this. So that evening I got home, it was all a blur. But then I realized I've got to fix this. I've got to find a way of coming out of debt, finding a way to sort my life out. And I started reading books. I started W.H. Smith's, ordering books on business and getting books on business and reading them and going to small workshops, going to seminars. And within 2 years, I was able to fix my business, and I sold that business. When I sold that business, then people kept asking me, Matt, can you help me with my business? And because I've been through it, from failing to turning it around, I started helping people in their small business and seeing them get results. And I didn't even know there was something called coaching or training. I had no idea. So I was doing this for free to help them out. So that's how it really started. So from helping people one-on-one, consulting with various companies, realizing that I could charge for this, and then started training people, 1 to 10 people in the room, 20 people, 100 people in the room, now sometimes thousands of people in the room. And it led me to write four books. But one key thing I do want to say is this, because you ask a very good question, Will. Where did it all start? When I sold my business and things became better, I then realized, and through my own personal development, I realized I really wanted to help people. So I wrote down this mission, and my mission in life became very clear, which was simply to inspire, educate, and empower people to live a life of joy, courage, passion, and purpose. And for the past 17 years, Will, that's what I've been doing, and help living that passion, which now brings me the fulfillment that I was looking for originally when I quit my job back in the day.
No, I love that. So I talk a lot about having what I call a North Star in life. And that statement that you just mentioned about inspiring, educating, empowering people to live the life of joy and courage, that for me is kind of like the North Star mission, is that you could win the Euro Millions tomorrow and you'd still be going out, jumping on planes, going and speaking and educating, inspiring and doing those things, I assume, because that's kind of what it is that gets you up and drives you every day. I do want to go a layer deeper though, if I may.
Sure.
Even because you mentioned you kind of studied even before you set up your first business, and even before you then hit kind of the breaking point and then going off and doing things differently, before you started selling and then teaching, you still had an interest in business because you studied and did the MBA, right? So where did that come from? To even want to study business in the first place?
Yeah, it's a good question. It must have been something in my mind because I studied business at college, and then I went later on to do the MBA. So when I did my MBA, remember, the MBA prepared me to become a good middle manager for an organization, and that's what it was. And I think in my head, I thought I just wanted to climb the corporate ladder at that time, and realizing after a while that actually I'm not enjoying this, and it must be something better. And then later on, actually, I quit my job because of it was a regional manager we had at the time. We weren't getting on, and so I'd spent entirety 10 years working for 3 different companies. The first company took me on as a management trainee. And so I stayed with them for 7 years, various promotions. After 7 years, I thought, I'm not really enjoying this. So I went to another company, stayed there for 2 years, and the same thing happened. And then the next company, 1 year is all I lasted, 1 year. Then that's when I realized that actually, maybe it's not the companies, maybe it's me, maybe I need to do my own thing. And then I went into business. But here's the irony, Will. My MBA did not prepare me for small business. And when my business started to struggle and things weren't going so well, I'd realized that the MBA prepared me for management in another organization, in a company, where you know what it's like. If you work for a company, there's always, you can call on HR, you can call on the IT department, you can call on this other department. But when you work for yourself, when it's your own company, your own business, especially in the early days, you wear all the hats trying to fix everything. And so I had to turn and I'll say this to the audience as well, that most of us will realize that there's a big difference between academic success and entrepreneurial success. Two different things. And I had to learn how to do entrepreneurialism, and I studied from some great teachers to help me do that.
So you talk, and I couldn't agree more in terms of the entrepreneurial skill set and the academic skill set, arguably are very, very different. But there's another discipline that I believe I'm right in saying that you're fairly well versed in, that also teaches the importance of sort of perseverance and courage, which is martial arts, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Done your research well. Yeah, absolutely. So I've been practicing martial arts for over 40 years now. I'm a sixth Dan, and for the last probably 25 years now, with 22 years rather, with Grandmaster Trevor Nichols here in London, one of the highest qualified teachers, if you like, in that Taekwondo sport, in that art. And so under him, I'm a sixth Dan black belt and a former UK champion in that sport. It's something I keep quiet. It's something I do as a lifestyle thing. I don't really shout about it much. But yes, indeed, what martial arts has done for me over the past 40 years is when the going has got tough, it's been to, you fall down, you pick yourself up on the mat, and you go again. That essence of courage, the perseverance. And in Taekwondo specifically, we have 5 tenets that we live by. And those tenets are simply, and which was, the founder, when he founded Taekwondo, put these tenets in place. One is about courtesy, just being courteous. And to me, that means being kind, using please and thank you, being generous. And not everyone is, you might think, oh, being kind, that's normal, isn't it? But not everyone is. The second thing is integrity. Integrity, in other words, be that wholesome person and do what you say you're going to do, follow through, and be known, the person of congruence and all that. And the other one is perseverance, like you mentioned. And, it's just keep going when it seems insurmountable. And the fourth one is self-control. Now, self-control is a big one, because when everyone else around you is doing something that you think, oh, maybe I should get involved in that, can you resist? Can you do the right thing when the world is telling you no, this way? When you see people doing things the wrong way and you think that's not good, can you control yourself? Even when it comes to diets, when it comes to exercise, when it comes to following through. So self-control. And then the last one is indomitable spirit. And that's a big one. Indomitable spirit took me years to really understand. An indomitable spirit simply means that when you have nothing left in the tank, right? You can watch a boxer go in 12 rounds. And in that 12th round, when they feel they have nothing left, they feel like they're going to be sick, puke, fall down, can you find another part of you? And I think it's more of a spirit thing that just ignites you to go on and find a way through. And indomitable spirit means you will not be put down. You will pick yourself 100 times. You fall down 99 times, pick yourself up every time. So those are the tenets that we live with. And that has helped me a great deal in life, in marriage, in parenting, in sports. It's helped me a lot in business. And so, it's a great thing. And I enjoy doing martial arts.
Because I've never really done martial arts. I've done a little bit of boxing. I've done one BJJ sort of session. Right. I've not really done much. But the thing that I always think is really interesting is the synergies, the synergies between martial arts for all the reasons that you've just mentioned, because I know that you literally go around the world speaking on business, and there's a lot of the attractive side of business that people are really interested in, like the new marketing widget or the new fancy sort of advertising that you could be doing or things like that. But in my experience, if you don't have some of those characteristics that you've just spoken about that are key in martial arts, then in my opinion, then a lot of people aren't going to survive the world of entrepreneurship and going out and being on your own, because it's not plain sailing. And you know the famous Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. It's all well and good thinking of things are going to go a particular way, but when they don't, that's when you really learn the who's got separates the wheat from the chaff. Who's got that grit. Would you agree in terms of the?
I totally agree. There was a time when I was failing in my business, and I looked at I considered everything. I studied all these books, and I started learning about personal development, which is really, a lot of it is mindset stuff. What you think and how you think, it will determine how you how you feel, and how you feel will determine how you behave and what actions you take or don't take. And so I thought, why am I succeeding in an area of my life and failing in other areas of my life? Why am I succeeding in martial arts, but my marriage is failing, my business is failing, my health is failing, all these? And I suddenly realized that if I applied what I've been learning for years in this particular field, in terms of following through, going the extra mile, things might change. And as I read these books and went to these seminars, they were saying the same thing. But my grandmasters and we've been saying this on the mat. So how do I apply that in business? So I realized there are 5 fundamentals to success, which I then took from martial arts and applied to life and business. And these 5 fundamentals are this. Number 1, and I learned this from Les Brown. And Les Brown said, if you want to achieve anything in life, you've got to be really hungry. And he says it with a belly. It's like, you've got to be hungry. I mean, if you've heard Les Brown, great story. And when I looked at that, I thought, okay, so that's more than passion. It's more than purpose. It's more than desire. It's hungry. So if, like Eric Thomas says, when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, that's when you're going to move closer to it. So I started to understand that, okay, I won gold medals in martial arts because I was hungry for it. I'll train. And the second thing is this: once you have that hunger, get clear. Number 2 was clarity, right? What is it you really want? Map it out. And once it's mapped out, number 3 is focus. You've created this roadmap. You want this gold medal. Okay, so, and for business owners, it might be, you want this multi-million-dollar business. Okay, so that's the hunger you have, okay, because it's going to give you the lifestyle you want. So number 2, get clear on it. How do I do that? And okay, map it out. You've got this roadmap now. Number 3, which is a challenge for a lot of people, is focus. Can you focus on that roadmap that you created that will get you that gold medal or that $1 million business or that thing you want? And focus, you touched it just now. People get they get distracted with all these new fandangles, ways of doing marketing this way, marketing that way, do this. And we got Netflix and you got this. So there's a lot of distractions that can happen if you're not clear on where you're going. And number 4, we know, and Anthony Robbins says it as well, which is massive action. Take action on that focus, the thing you're focused on. And number 5 is discipline. And after working with so many thousands of people around the world, most people are not disciplined. They are ill-disciplined in terms of following through, doing what they need to do. And hence the reason why I explained to them, if you are not as disciplined as you'd like to be, it's going to affect the result you want. It's going to affect you getting that gold medal. That's why all athletes would have a mentor, a coach, a trainer, someone who will push them, someone who hold them accountable, someone who will support them. So if you find your place that you're lacking discipline, find an advisor, find a coach, find someone who will hold you accountable, support you, so that you follow through and get that success that you're looking for. And so that's what I learned from that.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, you've mentioned Les Brown. I mean, I love Les Brown, and like you say, he's very distinguished voice. You know, there's so many stories. The one that I love is when he talks about when he was at school, his teacher. You know, there's lots of them. Is it? I don't know. I can't remember the particular teacher. It was just phenomenal. Who's had the greatest influence on you?
Well, in terms of, I've studied different materials from different people. So many. From a personal development side, Anthony Robbins, which I know we both love, Les Brown, T. Harv Eker, who wrote the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the Bible, actually, the Christian Bible has had an influence on me in terms of the content of it, because I've read that several times, and then a lot of elements other teachers teach. So from parenting, from relationships, I've learned from other people as well. So there's no one particular person, and I think my parents as well, because my parents, very hard workers, very, very hard workers, my parents, and I followed their work ethic, realizing actually at points they were working far too hard, which obviously led to their divorce at some stage, amongst other things. But I realized I've got to work smarter, because in my first business, working so hard led to almost my burnout as well.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting to hear, because I think that, like you say, the people that you've been inspired by, we all take kind of a little bit of them and we mix it with our own personality and our own interests. But I'm going to come back to those in a second. What I would love to know, I mean, you're famous around the world for helping entrepreneurs and business owners really ramp up sales, 20 to 200% increase in sales. What would you say are the most common challenges? So there's some really practical takeaways that people could take that listen to this that are in business. What are the most common challenges or problems that you've seen, or issues that these business owners have? And what are some relatively simple, not always easy, fixes that they could look to implement?
Very good question. A lot of clients who come to us, they've started their business, they've been going for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they realize it's not going as fast as they would like to. They're not creating the kind of income, kind of sales that they would really like to. And a lot of our clients are consultants, coaches, mentors, trainers, speakers, these type of people. And mostly small business owners. And so we have a system called the business wealth system. And when our clients follow that system, it forces them to put the right elements into their business. And so typically, if they follow that, within a year, they will notice increases of between 20% to 200%, depending on the size of the organization, size of the company. So some of the takeaways is this. If you are not getting enough sales in, then there are some fundamentals you have to put into place. One is, who is the ideal client you're going for? And that ideal client, get very clear on, if you came across them, would you know? If they heard you speak on your Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or they see your website, will they understand? Will that resonate with them? Are you that clear? The second thing is, understand what their problem is. If you understand who this ideal client is, and you are very clear and you can articulate the challenge, the problem, the things that they're going through, now they can resonate with your language, what you're saying, how you're saying it. And the third thing is, you've now got to create a product or a service that answers their problem. And so once you can get these trifactor, we call it the trifactor model, in place, then you can start experimenting with it and saying, okay, I think this is the ideal client. I think this is their problem. In fact, I know that's their problem. I'm gonna create this service, and so that will answer their problem. Test it out. Did it work? Oh, actually, the service is good. People say they like it. The problem we understand, but these people are saying it's not for them. But we found out that the most people who are buying this service are these type of people. Okay, now tweak it. Go after more of those people. So we work through all that with our clients in the beginning. The other thing is, now they're in front of you. So that's the marketing side of it, and I can go more into the marketing side. But now they're in front of you, and you are in a conversation with them, one-on-one, or maybe you are on stage or on a webinar. How are you going to sell? In other words, how are you going to convert them from them thinking they want you as a service provider, to actually them giving you their money for you to help them? How are you going to? And most small businesses who come to us, they find it difficult to sell. So we have a 6-step sales process that any business can follow. And when you follow it and you actually apply it, you'll start seeing those increases in sales. Now, we call it the authentic sales process. In other words, you are selling by being you and genuinely, authentically wanting to help them. And so, and the thing we push on with our clients is this: the only reason, Will, that anyone will give you their money, if you're in business, the only reason why they are going to give you their money is because they have a problem that they don't want and a solution they want, but they don't have. So if you constantly focus on, they've got a problem they don't want. Okay, good. Now I think I understand what the problem is. Okay. Or the challenge is, or the obstacle is. Okay. And there's a solution they want, they don't have. Okay. What if I created this and then put it in front of them? They're more likely to say yes to that. And if now you can be authentic, you can be real, because if you know their problem, now you're not trying to sell something to someone that and the reason why people shy away from sales, because often they've got something and they think nobody wants it. What if they say no? What if they don't like me? It's and those words of rejection. It's not. You've got to understand, if they say no, it's an objection because it's something they haven't understood, or you haven't articulated their problem fully, or you haven't articulated your solution fully. Because think about this, Will. If I've got a cut arm and someone's got a solution, that plaster that can go on it, and this thing is gushing, and it's there, and it's only got to cost me this to cover it up. I want it. I want it now, right? I've got time to go inside. I might do some research. Are there anyone else who can provide that? So essentially, working on that premise of problem, here's the solution, and it's for you. So talking to them in their language, letting them know they've got this problem and you've got the solution. And when our clients follow the 6-step process, they understand it. It becomes easier for them to sell now. And also, you asked me, how do they ramp up their sales between 20% to 200% in less than a year? The two other areas is this. One is, do they have the right mindset to run this business or to grow this business? Do they have the right mindset? And so we work on the mindset side of it in terms of sales and business growth. And the third area is accountability. So every single one of our clients has a dashboard. They have to fill out their dashboard. They have to report their numbers. Why? Again, because it keeps them on track as to wondering, when they're thinking, what things are not going well, or am I off track? No, keep doing the activities that you said you're going to do, and then see the result at the end. Most people don't have an accountability dashboard or something to monitor their metrics, and they keep going around in circles. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and I mean, in reverse order, I couldn't agree more with accountability. I mean, my whole thing is having that active accountability, whatever that looks like, whether it's self accountability to a dashboard or an accountability partner, a coach, or someone to hold your feet to the fire is vital in any walk of life that you're looking to optimize. And in my experience, high performers want accountability. So if you own a business and you want high performance, I don't think I've ever met anybody that says, no, I just want low performers in my business. I've never met anyone yet. But people, high performers want accountability because it's an opportunity, if nothing else, for them to showcase how good they are, and they get a bit of significance and feel good and whatever else, but it drives the culture. And ultimately, if you don't measure something, you can't manage it, and that's kind of what we want to look to do. I am curious, you mentioned mindset, and this is kind of one of the areas of obsession for me. So when you say that, what would be an example of somebody not having the appropriate mindset, and what are the types of things that, so if they're not growing their business and they're plateauing, what's an example of some traits that they might have that within their mindset, also what would be some sort of limitations they have, and how do you go about changing those?
Absolutely. Good question there, Will. And I'm going to borrow, the way I'm going to explain, I'm going to borrow Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant from his book, Cash Flow Quadrant. He talks about 4 mindsets in business. And those 4 mindsets in business is the simplest way I can explain it. He says there's the employee mindset, there's the self-employed mindset, there's the big business mindset, and there's the investor mindset. Each and every single one of those are very different. So the employee mindset is, I'm going to come and work for you. I'm going to work 8 till 6. You pay me at the end of the month. And I need that security. I need that security. I want that security. So I'm relying on this company to pay me. The self-employed mindset is simply, if it has to happen, I have to be there. I have to be involved. And doctors and carpenters and a lot of coaches do this as well. That I'm providing the service. It relies on me. I have to be there all the time. And if I'm not there, I don't get paid. If I'm not there, no money comes in. Then there's the big business mindset. And the big business mindset is, right, I'm building a business, not for just a lifestyle. And some self-employed mindset is, okay, this is for a lifestyle. It pays my bills. It keeps me doing what I want to do. Nothing wrong with that. But a big business mindset says, actually, I like my freedom. I'm building a business for wealth. I'm building a business which is bigger than me. I want to serve more people. I want to help more people. On my own, as a self-employed person, I can only help 10 people, 100 people. But as a big business owner, if my vision is that big and I want to help thousands of people, millions of people, there's only 24 hours in a day. And so now my mindset's got to change to, okay, how do I run a bigger business? How do I grow a business? Now you've got to start relying on putting in processes, systems, and above all, building a team of people who will deliver whether you are there or not. And it's a different mindset. It's a different outlook. Now, the big difference between the self-employed mindset and the big business mindset, now you have to trust people. You have to trust people and allow them to make mistakes, and then coach them and advise them, and coach them and advise them, and they will make mistakes, and nobody's going to do it as good as you. But can they do it and get results? And with your coaching and advice, then yes. And the self-employed mindset again is, and some people struggle as to, okay, but I'm a business owner. So do I have a self-employed mindset or a big business mindset? Well, if right now in your business, if you cannot be away, what would happen if you're away from your business and you couldn't operate your business? Maybe you're in hospital for a month, 3 months, 6 months. What would happen to your business? Well, if it's not going to be there when you come back, then that's a self-employed mindset. If you have a big business mindset, you've already started to put these systems, these teams, these people in place so that they can continue whether you're there or not. I hope that, and obviously the investor mindset, the investor wants a return on investment. So I'm not even going to start a business. I'm not even going to grow a business. I'm not even going to get my hands dirty, Will. I'm going to buy a business, or I'm going to buy real estate. I'm going to buy some stuff, invest my money in it, and I'm interested in return on my investment. I'm going to make money by getting returns on the things that I invest.
Yeah, no, very, very interesting. Thank you very much. And yeah, look, big fan of those different changes in mindset, because each time you're kind of leveling up and doing different things. What, as sort of we can cast yourself back to yesteryear, what did a young Mac Attram think about wealth and money?
A young Mac,
and that's not to say you're not young now, Mac. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking as a teenager and
a teenager. I don't think as a teenager. I don't think my mind was on that. I think as a teenager, like most teenagers, I think it was just having fun. But I suppose in my maybe late teens, when I was at college, when I was at college, sixth form, we call it here in the UK, I studied business, and I maybe subconsciously somewhere in my mind, I was always going to start a business at some point, I think, based on where my mind was. And I remember my father had books like from Dale Carnegie, and books from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And I used to just look at it on his bookshelf, and I'd glance through it, but it didn't really mean anything to me. And when I went through struggling and things weren't going right in my first business, I realized why he had those books. So I thought, let me go and buy some of these books and read them. So from a wealth perspective, I don't think that was there. But from a creating success, being a successful person, whatever that means, I think that was there. And I think that was probably instigated by the way my parents were, and how hard working they were.
Mm. Interesting. The reason I bring it up is because now you literally go around the world speaking on the topic of business, which we've spoken about, and wealth creation, personal development. We touched on a little bit of kind of the mindset side of personal development. And for me, personal development is about growing, growing whatever area that life might be. That might be in your martial arts, in your health, in your family life, it's making those changes. What is in your experience, what are the three maybe biggest or the biggest stumbling block that people have when it comes to wealth creation, and what's something they could do about it?
Great question. I wrote a book called The Millionaire Moment. And The Millionaire Moment, that book, when I look at myself and think, okay, there was a time when I was over 100 grand in debt. And how did I turn that around? What did I learn that helped me to turn that around? And how did I create wealth? How did I come from 100 grand in debt to creating multi-millions? What happened? What did I do? And the subtitle of the book is how our thoughts shape our financial destiny. And so you got to understand again that if you want to create wealth, there is some psychology and some subconscious thoughts that may be plaguing you that you may not be aware of. For example, I'll put it this simple. All of us as we were growing up would have come across some negatives, which would have been fed into our subconscious mind. And if I bring it to the conscious now and says, okay, did you hear terms like rich people are greedy? Did you hear people like money don't grow on trees? All these negatives from media, from television, from parents, from grandparents, from family, from friends. Those things actually affect how you treat money and how you deal with money. And so I'll give you an example. If somebody looks at somebody else and says, oh, right, that person's got a Ferrari and they seem to be doing well. And I don't know how they made their money. They probably stole it. that negative means that you cannot create that kind of wealth either. You can't do it because your mind will not allow you to do it. Because if you think that's bad, there's no way you can attract that. And so the mindset has got to be, and you've got to get clean with this. And if you want to create wealth, say to yourself, I want to create wealth, and it's okay. And some people don't, because what will these people think? What will my friends think? It's nothing to do with them. It's everything to do with you. What is it you want? Unfortunately, on all of us are going to leave this planet at some point. And on our dying bed, nobody's going to be thinking, how much money did I make? But they will be thinking around the things that you and I teach, Will, which is, who did I become in this world? How did I live my life? Did I live my full potential, or was I limiting myself? So if you have the ability to create wealth, create it. And if you think that, oh, what am I going to do with all that money? Well, you can do what you and I did at Christmas, Will. They can create a foundation. They can start feeding thousands of people. They can start giving money to orphanages. So it's okay to create wealth, because money is not the issue. It's what you do with the money, right? And some people have a challenge. And I write a lot about this in my book, about the psychology of creating wealth and what has to be in place so you don't sabotage your own success around that arena, and feel okay with it, and feel it's okay to be wealthy if you choose.
Yeah, those subconscious limiting beliefs that catch so many people on not being able to do what it is. And I think what you've just said there is such a powerful way of people uncovering what's there. What is it? What's that internal dialogue when they see the person with the big business or the car or the clothes? What is it that they're saying to themselves? What judgment, if you like, are they placing on that person? Because it's ultimately sort of, we take the law of reflection and transparency. It's only just, it's telling us more about ourselves than it is anybody else, right?
Exactly. You're right. Yeah, because there's a reflection on yourself rather than, so you're projecting something that's only true for you. It's not true for anybody else.
Yeah, it gets onto the conversation of I suppose reality versus actuality. So if you in your own business, so you kind of you took the traditional route of studying, started the business, had the business challenge, 100 grand worth of debt. If there was one thing that you could go back and tell yourself now, that with you, the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom and everything that you have, but you could go back and tell yourself that one thing, what would be that one thing you tell yourself, Mac?
Wow, great question there, Will. You have some great questions. What would I tell myself? I think from what I've learned, it'll be, stop feeling sorry for yourself and get on with it, right? And it'll be, yes, you're going to fall down. It doesn't matter what level of success you achieve. At some point, you are going to get some challenges. You are going to get some obstacles in your way. And all these things are designed to make you stronger if you choose, so you can get to the next level. So all the suffering I went to, if I can use that term, I went through, all the challenges I had, I think prepared me to do what I'm doing now, and then how I help other people. And so what would I say to myself? I'd say, yep, dust yourself up, dust yourself off, go again. Dust yourself off, go again, and take bigger risks and move forward.
Yeah, love that. So what does the future look like for Mac Attram? What's happening over the, not just in the short term, but sort of what do you envisage the next 5, 10, 20 years? What's kind of the North Star for you? What is it that you're working towards?
Good question there. Thank you, Will. Well, there's two main businesses I have. I've several businesses, but there's two main umbrellas. One is the property side of things, and one is the education side of it. So a lot of people know me for the training, the coaching, the education of small businesses, and I love doing that. And that's my purpose. That's my mission. That's my North Star, as you say, Will. So that's my purpose. My passion is really property, real estate. And my wife and I run a business where we acquire real estate property, we rent them out, We build flats and apartments. We build houses. And I love doing that. Now, don't shout much about it because that's a business and I love that business. And my education business, I love that because it keeps me fulfilled, it keeps me going. So I'm just going to continue doing what I've been doing for the last almost 2 decades now. Continue two decades, yeah, absolutely. Continue doing that. And above all, every day when I wake up, which I've been doing, is live my mission. Live my mission. And no matter what, I think that keeps me thriving, keeps me moving forward, and keeps me fulfilled.
And I would argue keeps you young as well. You know, keeps you young as well. You know, that having that thing and North Star, as I refer to it, but having that every day that you can wake up and knowing that you're filled with enthusiasm and doing what you're doing. So, Mac, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people have been listening to you and thinking, I need to find out more about this guy, where can they? You've mentioned the books. You've got 4 books. Where can people connect with you? Where can people find out about you? Where can people find out more?
I suppose the easiest way, a lot of people go to my website, www.macattram.com, MACATTRAM.com. So if you go there, I've got some free resources there, a free business quiz if you're a small business owner. Or just reach out to me. Let's have a conversation, see how I can help.
Amazing. Well, guys, we'll put the link to Mac's website in the show notes so you can head straight there and go and find out more and then connect with Mac via those ways, take the quiz, etc. Mac, thank you so much for joining me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure and look forward to connecting soon and hopefully it'll be before we're wrapping up turkeys again at the next basket brigade. So thanks again, Mac.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. I really appreciate you having me on your show. Thank you.
And for everyone listening, until next time, make it happen.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Make It Happen with Will Polston podcast. Make sure you join Will's free Facebook group, the Make It Happen community. Please support the show by subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or Google Play. Share this episode with at least one friend you think would benefit from it and give Will a 5-star review wherever you download your podcasts. Until next time, make it happen.